If you're like me, getting parts is like Christmas. So today, let's share Christmas together. I got a whole bunch of stuff here for the Fundus truck. Stick around. I'm Mike. You're watching My Car Shop. It's very rare that I share things that I've purchased this way, but for some reason, these boxes of parts are a significant move forward on the project, and I wanted to share that with you. The first thing is a tool. It is not a part, but it's an important tool. It's an El Cheapo, as cheap as you can get. What we have here is a caster camber gauge. Now, it's an El Cheapo. It's not calibrated, yada, yada, yada. As we get into finishing the front suspension on the truck, I'm going to share how to use this El Cheapo caster camber gauge. It is magnetic, but you have to zero it and calibrate it every time you use it, and we're going to go through that process. But for 12 bucks off of Amazon, I couldn't beat it. It's a whole lot better than what you saw me doing on the front suspension. So anyway, very cool. It's a tool whiz. You know, I don't know what a tool whiz is, but it is a professional tool. This box arrived Thursday. It was the last box to actually arrive. And I know what's all in here, obviously, because I ordered it all. But it's heavy. Not as heavy as that one. All of this stuff, thanks to my good buddy John from the Life at Speed channel, we got a super steal on from a place I've never ordered anything from before. I ran a suspension kit by him to get his view on it, and he said there's a cheaper place, and he sent me a link, and he took and showed me all of the parts that he had gotten for his CUDA. This is a tie rod end. And another tie rod end. And another tie rod end. I believe these are tie rod links. I just went ahead and ordered new ones. There's a reason for that. Yep, these are the links that go in the middle of the tie rod ends. That's another one. Getting ahead of myself. What do we got here? There's just so much goodness in here. This is a ball joint. I believe this is a lower ball joint. Yep, right side lower ball joint. Left side lower ball joint. There's a couple of reasons why I ordered all of this stuff new. What's this? Oh, these are the cam bolts for the adjusters. I ordered these because I can't find some of the cam washers for the set that I had. I'm sure they'll show up. Here's another set of those. This is the, I have a sway bar for this. And so this is the sway bar links, and this is the sway, well, this is another tie rod end. So that's it for that box, except for a Rock Auto magnet, which is where all this stuff is from, Rock Auto. First time I've ordered from them. Price-wise, I've never seen anything like it. It's really good. Some of this stuff is Chinese knockoff. I know that, but I used up a lot of my really good A-body suspension components on the Challenger, and while I have a whole bunch more around, because my wife's going to be driving this and it's going to be her truck, I decided I just wanted to put everything new in the front of this thing and be done with it. So again, another box from Rock Auto here. Thank you, Colleen. Colleen didn't want to see me with a razor blade, so she bought me a box opener. Okay, this is some stuff. There's another box in here to open. And then two more boxes in here to open. And these were necessities. Hard. Because I can't roll this thing around without, so hold on. What we have here, brand new rotors with races. And I went to AutoZone and picked up all the wheel bearings for the front. So we have both rotors, all the bearings. I don't have the seals. I forgot to get seals, but I'll get those. So that's great. So we can get all of the front suspension stuff cleaned up, get these on there, bolt wheels on, and work on, well, we need to bolt wheels on to do the alignment, but it's a lot further closer to being, further along. I got to get some shocks yet. Thank you, Colleen. I lost my box opener. It's probably under that. All right. Okay, we have, I think this is a sway bar bushing. Oh, these are the suspension stops. And these are Moog parts. These are not SKPs like some of the other stuff. This is upper ball joint. Upper ball joint. Yep. So we have the lower ball joints, upper ball joints, all the tie rod ends. Another bushing. Lower control arm bushing. Again, it's Moog. Lower control arm bushing. And then this should be, I'm not sure. Oh, suspension stop. Sway bar bushings. Another suspension stop. Upper control arm bushings. Probably another suspension stop. It is. So we have everything for the front end now except for calipers, pads, shocks, and grease seals. I'm kind of getting a little bit overrun here. It's snowing out, so stitches can't be outside. But I think I've got a game plan on this moving forward. I have designed the reinforcements for the upper control arms and the shock mount, so I need to get those built. I have all of the rubber components for the control arms, obviously. You've seen me change that stuff before, so whether or not I'll share that with you, I don't know. And of course, upper lower ball joints. The upper ones are thread in. I've got the socket around here somewhere for that. And the lower ones are bolt on, so no big deal there. Yes. So we'll get all that done, and I need to get the spindles cleaned up, and of course the control arms cleaned up. So here's my plan. What I want to do is basically start with the rolling components first. So in other words, all of the, oh shoot, I forgot to order strut rod bushings. Oh well. Oh, I did. Guess I didn't. I may have a set here now that I think about it. Anyway, I've got to make another order to Rock Auto for some more stuff anyway, so no big deal. But get everything on there so that the front suspension is done. Okay. I was going to set the motor in the chassis with it up here. But the more I've thought about it, I've kind of backed off on that a little bit. I intended to weld this to the table and everything, but the more I've worked on it, I realize I'm almost done with what needs to be done on here, and the way I've done it is fine. So my thinking is get this off of here. Where I'm going to put it, I don't know. And then bring the motor and stuff in and work on getting it fit on the chassis when it's down on the floor. I have to put the torsion bar control or the torsion bar mounts in it yet, and that's probably going to get done on the floor as well. So I probably will add one more temporary brace on this just to keep things pretty good, but we're not far actually from pulling this thing off of here and being able to roll it around like a wheelbarrow on its own front wheels. Another thing I want to do while this is on here, and once I have the wheels, and this could be a game changer, once I have everything on there where I think it needs to be, before I weld this upper control arm on here, I want to bolt wheels on this thing and put the fenders back on it and be 100% sure that all my calculations are correct and that the front suspension is going to line up rightly, is that the right word, in the wheel well so that it doesn't look stupid. I ballparked it, but I haven't confirmed that 100% because I really wanted to be able to put the wheels on it of some kind and that kind of stuff. So hopefully, I don't have to move anything. I shouldn't have to move anything here. If anything, this will be what moves. So that should be fairly simple. Hopefully not too much because I got my front cross member in already. But that's all part of hot rodding, so no big deal. But I think everything is fairly close. So yeah, we're not having to move the K-frame on the frame. That's non-negotiable. So this is the way it goes when you're doing hot rods. I just went and looked, and I do have the. I knew I had one. I have a couple of different sizes of those, but anyway, I have the ball joint socket, so we can get those ball joints changed out on the uppers because they just thread into the control arm. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. So my goal, as I started to say and got distracted by myself, is to basically start at the front and just work my way back. So I don't think it's going to be too long before this thing is back on its feet. Not back on its feet, is on its own feet. Yeah, I'm just thinking it through here out loud with you, and I think you're going to see a major transformation on this truck in the next little while. And the beautiful thing about this, and I got to think about this more, but I may be able to go ahead and get the cab on here as well once I have some of this work done and finish the cab work on the frame. And I kind of like that idea. So rather than having the cab on the body cart, we'll have the cab on the truck frame. And that means I may have to have some temporary wheels under it in the back, but it's kind of exciting. I mean, it really is to think about where we were this was just sticks just a few weeks ago, and we're already talking about putting in the motor and getting the cab on it. And yeah, we need the table a little longer to build the back half of the frame, but again, that's going to go quick. And the only reason we want that up on here is to get it square, as you've seen me do ad nauseum. So we are really thrusting forward on this project. So we're getting into the big money here on the project. It's time for the big reveal. What do we have into this entire project money-wise on this 39 Dodge truck? The amount that I paid, the truck was donated, but they asked me to give them money for fuel for the tractors and chainsaws and everything they had to do to log out the woods to get this truck out and to deliver it. What I gave them for that, I actually sold the chassis that was in it for that same amount. So we started this project at zero, okay? I had, up until this point, I had $18 into primer that we've used on the cab. That's the only money we've had into this project so far. This order here, upper ball joints, lower ball joints, control arm bushings, uppers and lowers, brake rotors, all of the other bushings, the wheel bearings, $340 is what we have into it. So with the other, we have $358 into this project. My goal on this project is to get this thing built around $1,000. Well, it'll be more than that because of the glass, but I don't want hardly any money in this thing, and it's one of those things that I want to show in the real world how you don't have to spend huge money to build these things. Yes, it means you have to have connections and other things that you have to, you have to have friends and know people that know people, and they need to know you're into this and they need to know what you can do. I get all of that, but you can develop that in your own sphere of influence, in your own world, around with the people that you are around and the people that you can connect with. I'm trying really hard to break this myth that you have to have money to build hot rods. You don't. You just have to be resourceful and relentless. Now, I know I'm not 20 years old and just starting out in life at this. I've been doing this since I was a teenager. That puts me into this stuff for well over 40 years. Let's leave it at that. Probably 45 years I've been working on cars off and on one way or another. Motorcycles, bicycles, lawnmowers, all that stuff. Heck, I was rebuilding lawnmower motors when I was 9 years old. So I won't say rebuilding. I was tearing them apart. But you got to start somewhere. And if you're resourceful and if you're relentless and you're willing to think outside the box, you can do this. I can't emphasize that's what MKS is all about. And every project you see in here represents that in one way or another. It really does, of what thinking outside the box. Now, some of my older cars, like my GTS and my 47 Ford, part of it is because I've had those cars for decades. There's a little more money in those, particularly the 47 Ford, but they're still built with the same mindset. And, the Stitch's Challenger, we don't even have $3,000 in that car, and it's not far from being able to move around under its own power. I have everything to put it together. And that's what this is all about. That's why I wanted to share this with you today. Thank you to my buddy John from Life at Speed. I've heard people talk about Rock Auto for years. I've never ordered it. I'm excited to put these parts together and give you an honest review on what I think. But I feel better about putting all brand new stuff in this truck since my wife's going to be driving it. And I'm thrilled that I didn't have to spend huge amounts of money to do that. We've been squirreling away a little money for this project because she wants it on the road this coming summer, by this fall. So she and I have prioritized it and squirreled a little bit away because we sold her 2018 Mini Countryman, and this is going to become her nice weather daily driver. So it's a high priority to get this on the road. All right, I think that's going to do it for this one. I appreciate you being here. I know it wasn't a real informative as far as hands-on work. We're going to be flogging on this thing soon, getting all those suspension bits cleaned up and painted and put together and getting those upper control arm mounts finished up with the shock mounts. And you're going to see a transformation moving back as we get that stuff done and we paint things and bolt more and more stuff and weld more and more stuff onto the chassis. So thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Can't believe this is the last episode of the month of January already. Time flies when you're having fun. We'll catch you on the next one. Don't forget, it's important. Yeah.